Now, President Obama is reaching out to businesses again, but he used a medium where businesses often criticize him, the op-ed page in the Wall Street Journal. He wrote in today's journal, quote, "Sometimes those rules have gotten out of balance, placing unreasonable burdens on business, burdens that have stifled innovation and have had a chilling effect on growth and jobs." And there he's talking about regulation. Well, one person who may agree with that is economist Art Laffer. He's a veteran of 3 White House administrations, and his most recent op-ed in the Journal argues that you can boost GDP by cutting government spending. He joins us now from Nashville to address both issues. Art, thanks so much for joining us. Let me ask you first about President Obama's op-ed today, where yours was just a few days ago. The president writes a more business-friendly opinion than you might expect him to. Some have said that he's turned the corner since the midterm elections. Do you think that's the case?
Yes, I do. I think there's a major change in all sorts of areas of Obama's administration that really shows an attempt to try to appease and appeal to Republicans and to common sense good economics. And I'm delighted by it, by the way. I think a lot of it probably is really coming from Austin Goolsbee, who's really a pretty good economist, and I think has the president's ear.
It's interesting because you take issue with something that Austin Goolsbee said in your op-ed last week. He says that it would be catastrophic, and I'm paraphrasing here, for us not to raise the debt ceiling, even though he and his boss, well, at least President Obama, voted against raising the debt ceiling back in 2006. Why the flip-flop there?
Well, I think, now they're on the other side of the fence where they need the debt ceiling to be able to cash the checks. And that's why they flip-flop so badly. Now, you have to understand that Austin is working for an administration and has to toe the line. And, it is ironic and even a little bit hypocritical that Obama himself voted against raising the debt ceiling and now wants to raise it for his spending. These guys also supported, Matt, every single spending program that's ever existed. I think it comes out to $3.5 trillion. They foisted on the people, from TARP to the stimulus. I mean, you name the spending program, they did it, and it obviously had no effect on the economy. So now they're begging for, yes, sorry.
I understand your point, but let's go back to things like TARP. I mean, did they have any other choice in terms of helping out the financials? We can debate it,
of course,
for hours and hours, but here we are, and most would say we got through this financial crisis and really saved our system, if you will, and now they've got to figure out a way to get out of it. And whether it's a Republican in the White House or a Democrat, I mean, they both would be kind of faced with a similar situation.
Well, I think it's nonsense that TARP helped the economy. I think TARP made it a lot worse for everyone. I was opposed to TARP when it came out. I thought it was wrong, and I just think it made it much worse for the U.S. But there were lots of Republicans who supported it, and in fact, many of the good Republicans whom I like and admire were big advocates of TARP. But I think they're wrong, and I just think you can't spend yourself into prosperity. And goodness knows, when you pay people not to work, when you support losing businesses, that money has to come from other people, and it makes the economy worse. And I tried to do that in the editorial, where I have, you have a two-farmer world, Farmer 1 and Farmer 2, if you give Farmer 2 unemployment benefits, who do you think pays for them? Farmer 1 is the right answer. Government spending is a tax on the economy.
Let me though ask you, Art. In your op-ed, you argue that cutting spending helps to boost GDP, and you take 2 examples after World War II and during the Clinton administration. Weren't those times, though, where the economic engine was already revved up, where it was sort of the perfect handoff from government to private? And wouldn't we have to make sure that we're in that kind of situation now before we reduce spending?
Oh, I think we're in that perfect situation right now. I have never seen government spending as a share of GDP as high as it is today during what we call peacetime. I mean, this is the worst situation I've ever seen. I can't imagine a more perfect timing for really cutting government spending to get the economy on a rocket ship, just like after World War II, just like what happened to Bill Clinton. I mean, this is Democratic President Bill Clinton, who I supported twice in his run for the presidency. And, I wish Obama were more like Bill Clinton, and I hope he becomes more like Bill Clinton.
We could talk a lot more about this. Unfortunately, Art, we're running out of time.
Isn't it fun?
It is fun. We got to say goodbye. Art Laffer joining us there from Nashville.
Thank you very much for having me.